Good morning, Judge.
Hey, good morning. How you doing today?
Doing fantastic, Your Honor.
So you ready to go?
All ready to go, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Would everyone please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the information that you tell the court today will be the truth? If so, say I do, and you can lower your hands.
I do.
All right, so this is your first appearance here in Clayton County Magistrate Court. I'm Judge Bando. The purpose of the court hearing today is for me to advise you of what you've been charged with and what your bond amount is if you have a bond set. We're not here to take a plea in your case or to have a trial in your case. As you see, there's no one here except you and I and the deputy. So there's nothing that we can do with your case, discuss the facts. It won't make a difference today. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to a presumption of innocence. You have a right to call witnesses. When you do have a trial, you have a right to testify on your own behalf, and you have the right to have an attorney assist you in all stages of the proceedings. If you cannot afford an attorney, then I will consider appointing you an attorney if you will qualify for one. Some of you will have unrestricted bonds, meaning you can post your bond through a bonding company in which they charge 15% of what your bond amount is. So if your bond is $1,000, the fee that the bonding company is going to charge will be like $150 approximately for you to secure your release from custody. You can also post a cash bond directly to the sheriff's office. So again, if your bond is $1,000, you can bring the $1,000 in cash to the sheriff's office plus some administrative fees. When the case is over, they'll return that money back to you at the disposition, the very end of your case. And finally, you can use a property bond to post your bond to secure your release from custody. If you decide to use a property bond, it has to have at least 3 times the amount of equity in the property to secure your release. So if your bond is $1,000, then it would have to at least have $3,000 worth of equity for you in order to use the property bond to secure your release. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond. What that means is I'll ask you not to have contact with a certain person, or I prohibit you from returning to a certain location as a condition of your bond. If you violate the condition, you can be charged with aggravated stalking, in which you won't be entitled to bond at all while you wait for the trial date on your case to be resolved. The next thing, everybody will have to make a decision about when you come before me individually. So please pay attention to this part especially. You'll have to decide whether you would like to have a preliminary hearing in your case or whether you would like to waive your right to your preliminary hearing. What a preliminary hearing is, where the state of Georgia, the district attorney's office or the solicitor's office would have to prove that it is probable that you have committed the crimes as alleged. Probable is a low burden. It's literally just how it sounds. That you probably committed it is what they would have to prove at a preliminary hearing. I can tell you now, so this can help you make your decision. If you are charged with a felony, your preliminary hearing date will be September the 15th. If you are charged with a misdemeanor, the next time you would come to court would be September the 14th. If you make your bond, you won't have to come to court on those dates. So even if you choose today to have a preliminary hearing and you bond out, you will get notice in the mail when to come to court. This date would only apply is if you don't have a bond set and you decide that you would like to keep your preliminary hearing, or if you do have a bond set and you're unable to post a bond and you decide to keep your hearing, that will be the next time you are in court. You can also waive your right to that preliminary hearing. And if you know you're not going to make bond and you decide that you don't want to have the preliminary hearing, it will get you in court quicker to have your case resolved before the September the 14th for misdemeanors or September the 15th for felonies. All right. So with all that being said, we will get started. And the first person I have is Tina Benton. Ms. Benton, you have been charged with theft by shoplifting. Your bond is $3,000. You can go back to the Home Depot located at 2034 Mount Zion Road in Morrow, Georgia, as a condition of your bond. Now, would you like to waive your preliminary hearing, or did you want to keep it? Let me, hold on, I think my volume might be down. Okay, what did you say?
I'll waive it.
You'll waive it, okay. So there's a waiver form over there and they're gonna have you sign it. Make sure I can read your handwriting and I understand it is your name, because if not, people scribble it and then I won't know it's yours. Okay, and I've appointed an attorney to represent you based on your application, ma'am. Thank you. All right, I have Quinte Deshay. Mr. Shea, you've been charged with simple battery family violence. Your bond is $3,000. You can't have any contact with Dante Williams as a condition of your bond. Do you understand the conditions? Did you want to waive or you want to keep your preliminary hearing? You want to keep it? All right, it'll be September the 14th. And I've appointed an attorney to represent you based on your application, ma'am. Thank you. All right, Ms. Edmonds. All right, you've been charged with simple battery family violence. Your bond is $3,000. You can't have any contact with Gorgeous Young. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Did you want to keep your preliminary hearing or did you want to waive?
Keep it.
It's going to be September the 14th, based on your application. Did you fill out one?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I see it. Okay, so based on your application, I've appointed an attorney to represent you. Thank you.
Start. Oh.
All right. Ms. Scott, you've been charged with criminal trespass. Your bond is $1,000. Violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act is $2,000. You can't go back to the Overlook Apartments on Terra Boulevard, 625 in Jonesboro, Georgia. Do you understand that?
I don't have a bond.
It's $3,000 total. You want to keep your preliminary hearing or you want to waive it?
Keep it.
I didn't hear you.
Keep it.
Do you understand the condition that you can't go back to that apartment complex? All right, your court date is gonna be on the 14th and are you working right now? Your court date is on the 14th and I appointed an attorney to represent you. Thank you.
Hello, Your Honor.
Young.
Yeah.
Are you Miss West?
No, I'm young.
What's your name?
Tiara.
Last name.
Sierra Young.
Yes. Tiara Young.
All right, Miss Young, you've been charged with simple battery. The bond is $3,000. Obstructing to a law enforcement officer is $2,000. Did you want to waive or you want to keep your preliminary hearing?
I'll wait.
Okay.
Well, you
Based
said,
on, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I'm listening. I'll ask questions.
I was just gonna let you know that based on your application, I've appointed an attorney to represent you. When you fill the waiver form out, make sure I can understand your handwriting, okay?
You said 3,000 and you said 2,000?
Your total bond is $5,000. It's $3,000 on the battery and $2,000 on the obstruction. Ms. Sanchez?
You don't have a Sanchez, Your Honor.
They said she was an add-on, so they didn't actually.
Did not, this was not informed about an add-on at all.
Okay. All right. Aubrey Bass.
How you doing?
All right, Mr. Bass, you've been charged with criminal trespass. I dismissed that charge. You've been charged with obstruction a law enforcement officer. That bond is $1,000. Did you want to waive or you want to keep your preliminary hearing?
You said I thought waive it, what again now?
You want to keep your preliminary hearing or do you want to waive it? Were you listening when I went over that earlier?
Yes, ma'am, I was, but someone was talking, I don't know how to hear it, but you say you dismissed the criminal trespass? The trespass,
Yeah, so the only charge you have left is the obstruction charge.
and I got an obstruction because I didn't open the door to my house. My house, Your Honor. You said it
Yeah,
charged me.
so you remember earlier when I said this is, you see, ain't nobody, there's nobody here. We're
Yes,
not
ma'am.
doing a trial or anything like that.
Right.
So all of what you're saying may be true, but this is not the appropriate time because there's nobody here literally except us.
Okay, so no,
So did you want to keep your preliminary hearing or did you want to waive?
I'm gonna keep it because I'm gonna bond after that.
Okay, all right. So then we're gonna set it for the 14th. And based on your application, I've appointed an attorney to represent you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Battle, Mr. Battle, you've been charged with driving with a broken mirror. That bond is 500. I dismissed the other two charges for lack of probable cause for the possession of marijuana and the possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. Did you want to waive or you want to keep your preliminary hearing?
I'll waive.
All right, complete the waiver form. Make sure I can understand your handwriting. The state may try to bring the charges again, but at this point, they're dismissed for insufficient probable cause. Make sure you sign the form and I can understand your handwriting. You're welcome. Mr. Brownlee? Mr. Brownlee, you've been charged with criminal trespass, damage to property. Your bond is $2,000. You can't have any contact with Tammy Brownlee. Do you understand the conditions of your bond?
I don't understand, but she is my caregiver also.
You said she would?
She's my caregiver. I'm visually impaired.
She may be your caregiver, but based on the allegations, you can't have any contact until the solicitor's office can contact her to confirm she wants to have contact with you.
But they have
So
a-
you have a lawyer that's gonna be working with you and they can call and find out and have the condition changed.
Okay.
Do you want to keep your preliminary hearing or did you want to waive it?
I'll wait.
Okay, make sure when you fill out the form, I can understand your handwriting. And you do have a lawyer to work with you, okay, sir? All right, thank you.
Okay, sir. Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
position 3, this was Benton Tina. She chose not to waive her preliminary hearing.
Okay.
You need to go to print your name right here. This is the waiver form. Waiver for the preliminary hearing, you need to print your name right here.
Order, order.
Yeah. So this time, no about print. Right here. Both of those. You can wait.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Carter, you've been charged with aggravated assault. Your bond has been denied. Did you want to keep your preliminary hearing or do you want to waive it?
Waive it.
Based on your application, I appointed an attorney to represent you, sir. Thank you. All right, Mr. Fletcher, you've been charged with criminal damage in the second degree. The bond is $1,000. Driving on a suspended or revoked license is $1,500 and hit and run is $1,500. So your total bond is $4,000. Would you like to keep your preliminary hearing or did you want to waive it? All right, and on your form, you didn't indicate how much you earn a month, so don't know if you need to be considered for an attorney or not. How much money do you earn a month?
Month, like 2,600.
All right, based on that information, I've appointed an attorney to represent you. If you hire your own, they'll be relieved from duty. Do you have any questions, sir?
No.
Just make sure you complete the waiver form where I can understand your handwriting. Thank you.
Right over here, sir.
All right, Mr. Flippin,
Yes, ma'am.
you've been charged with battery. The bond is $5,000. Criminal trespass is $3,000. So your total bond is $8,000. Do you want to keep your preliminary hearing or would you like to waive it?
Wait, this.
All right. Based on your application, you didn't indicate how much money you earn a month, so I couldn't determine whether you needed an attorney or not. How much do you earn?
Want to say 18?
You said what?
Want to say 18? 18, month.
You said 800?
18.
1,800. Okay. Based on that, I've appointed an attorney to represent you. Make sure you sign the waiver form where I can understand your handwriting. Thank you. All right, Mr. Graham, you've been charged with party to the commission of the crime. Your bond is $5,000. You want to waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to keep it? All right, your preliminary hearing is going to be on the 15th of September. Based on your application, I've appointed an attorney to represent you. Thank you, sir. No, he's a preliminary hearing.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Hobbs, you've been charged with simple assault, family violence. Your bond is $2,000. You can't have any contact with Kenitra Hobbs. Do you understand the condition of your bond?
Now, we are married and we play together.
Okay, I understand that. So at this time, there's no one here to confirm whether she wants to have contact with you or not. So I can't change it until she contacts the solicitor's office or the lawyer that I've appointed to represent you, contact her to let us know that she wants to have contact. But if you over there and say she calls the police, and even if she invites you over there and this bond had been changed, guess who's gonna end up back in jail? Her or you? So you need to make sure it get changed. All they're gonna see is you have a bond to stay away. And then if you over there, she gets upset and calls the police, you're gonna come back to jail for violation of bond, okay? All right, you wanna keep your preliminary hearing or you wanna waive it?
Keep it.
All right, it's gonna be on September the 14th. I've appointed an attorney to represent you and thank you, take care. All right, Mr. Howard, what'd you say? Oh, are you Mr. Howard?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, you've been charged with criminal trespass, damage to property. Your bond is $4,000. Terroristic threats is $3,000.
Ma'am, I wanted to say something. The person failed, the person failed to mention I was on Social Security.
Sir, can I discuss your case here? Okay, let the judge speak. We're gonna tell you the four conditions that you're here for. That's it. And we'll-
I'm on social security. That's all I was telling her. I'm on social security.
Okay.
I'm disabled and I did something disabled. That's all I was telling her. I don't know. If she
Yeah,
got
so I saw your form where you indicated you were disabled on it, and based on that, I've appointed an attorney to represent you. So your bond is $4,000 on criminal trespass. Terroristic threats is $3,000. You can't have any contact with Benjamin Graves as a condition of your bond. Do you want to waive or you want to keep your preliminary hearing?
What does that mean?
Do you want to waive your preliminary hearings or do you want to keep it?
What does that mean?
Judge, would you like to go over what a preliminary hearing is for them again?
Okay. All right, so everybody listen. So remember when I said to everybody listening in the beginning? All right, so a preliminary hearing is where the state, the DA's office or the solicitor's office, they have to prove that it's probable that you committed the crime as alleged. It means literally probable, just what it says. So did you want to keep that preliminary hearing where the state would have to prove that it's probable that you've committed the crimes that they're alleging, or did you want to waive that preliminary hearing?
Ben said the man who put the warrant, he said if y'all call him, he said he'll drop it. I was trying to pay him 100 for it, but y'all locked me up before I got to pay him the 100 for the door.
Okay, so that sounds like we're gonna keep your preliminary hearing based on what you just said. You can always waive it, and once you speak to an attorney and talk about it later, so it's gonna be on the 15th of September. And I've appointed an attorney to represent you, sir. Thank you.
Hobbs? Okay. You, Tom, right? Van Horn?
Yeah.
All right, are you Mr. Langhorn?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Langhorn, you've been charged with driving under the influence of alcohol. That bond is $5,000. Open containers, 500. Driving on a suspended or revoked license is 1,500, and hit and run is 5,000. So your total bond is $12,000. You want to keep your preliminary hearing, or do you want to waive it?
Waive it.
Make sure you complete the waiver form where I can understand your handwriting. And I have appointed an attorney to represent you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, Mr. McBride, you've been charged with criminal trespass. That bond is $3,000 and simple battery is $2,000. You have special conditions. You can't have any contact with Santana Miller. Do you understand the conditions of your bond?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing or did you want to keep?
I want to keep it.
All right, it will be on September the 14th. And based on your application, I appointed an attorney to represent you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, Mr. McLaughlin.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you've been charged with possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce. Your bond is $1,500. Would you like to waive or you want to keep your preliminary hearing?
I'll waive.
Okay. Based on your application, I've appointed an attorney to represent you. Make sure you complete the form. I can understand your handwriting, okay? Thank you, sir. Mr. Reyes? I guess we got all. What's your name, sir?
More.
Moore, all right. Mr. Morris, just stand to the side for me. Mr. Reyes? No more. Mr. Reyes, you've been charged with criminal trespass. Your bond is $2,000. Simple battery family violence is $1,000. You want to waive or you want to keep your preliminary hearing?
What does that mean?
We're not doing this. I've explained this 4 times today. So we're gonna keep your preliminary hearing. You can waive it at a later date. Your preliminary hearing date is gonna be on the 14th. Based on your application, I've appointed an attorney to represent you, sir. Thank you.
Wes?
All right. Are you Mr. West? All right, Mr. West, you've been charged with driving under the influence of drugs. Your bond is $2,000. Violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act is $10,000. Possession of firearm during the commission of a crime is $10,000. Your total bond is $22,000. You want to waive or you want to keep your preliminary hearing? It's going to be on September the 15th. Are you working right now, sir?
Yeah, man.
How much do you earn a month? I didn't hear you.
Not 2,000.
About 2,000. Based on that information, I've appointed an attorney to represent you. Thank you. All right, Mr. Williams? Are you Christopher Williams or Ty Williams? Okay. You've been charged with simple battery. Your bond is $4,000. You can't have any contact with Abdulka Jackson. Do you understand the conditions of your bond?
Yes.
Do you want to waive your hearing or did you want to keep it?
Keep.
It's going to be on September the 14th. Based on your application, I've appointed an attorney to represent you. Thank you. Oh, that's Mr. Moore. Okay, so they didn't bring any of these add-on people?
No, I did not receive notification of any add-ons.
They had 3 that they pulled on that sheet of paper that they sent the paperwork for. All right, Mr. Moore. You got a whole nother spiel. As you are being charged of being a fugitive. All right, so this is what we call an extradition hearing for your case. So all the rights that I explained earlier also apply to you in your case. You don't have any charges pending here in Clayton County. You've been brought to court today because you have charges pending against you in another state, which is, let's see here, which is in Tennessee. You're being charged with being a fugitive from the state of Tennessee, where you're wanted by the Shelby County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee for dangerous drugs, a felony, which is case number 2001-5022, which they have indicated they will extradite for. If you decide that you want to contest your extradition, you'll be committed to Clayton County Detention Center for an initial period of 30 days. During this time, a warrant will be issued and prepared by the governor's signature for the extradition back to Tennessee. The court may consider allowing you to post a bond, but at this time, the court is not granting a bond because you're wanted for being a fugitive of justice. If you do not wish to voluntarily return to Tennessee, you can file a writ of habeas corpus. The petition can only challenge 4 things: whether the documents are valid, whether the crime that you're charged with actually exists in Tennessee, whether you are the person named, and whether you are in fact a fugitive from justice. You cannot contest your innocence or guilt in the state of Georgia. You are entitled to advice of counsel in deciding whether you want to contest your extradition or waive it. There's no automatic right to have an attorney to assist you. If the state is unable to extradite you, then you can be, in the first 30 days, you can be committed for an additional 60 days while you await extradition. You can waive your extradition process and you can voluntarily return to Tennessee. The court cannot tell you when to expect Tennessee to come for you, as a number of things affect that factor. So are you in fact Jerry Moore Jr.?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you already have an attorney representing you in this matter?
I'm in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you want to contest your extradition, or would you like to waive your formal extradition and voluntarily return to Tennessee?
Nah, I want to go back to Tennessee.
Okay, so they have 7 forms. It's the same exact form. You just have to sign all 7 of them. They say the same thing, just some kind of legal technicality because they got to go different places. So make sure you sign those forms and then they'll get those to Tennessee, so they'll come pick you up. All right? Yep, that's it. Thank you.
All right, so here you go, sir. You're gonna sign your name here and want the same thing, you put these forms, okay? Judge,
Yes, sir.
Mr. West Rakim, could you state his bond again?
Yeah. All right, let's see. It's 2,000 on the DUI, 10,000 on the VGCSA, and 10,000 on the possession of the firearm.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, that's everybody, right?
Yes, Your Honor, that's everyone.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you,
Oh,
Your Honor.
don't forget they had those 3 add-ons that didn't make it. So I don't know why they didn't tell you, because I want to make sure they don't put them on the calendar for tomorrow. All right.